All right, great. So we're on slide one. So as you know, we've been doing some study and some alternative evaluations of Little Orange Creek Nature Park. So here we came to go ahead and show you and discuss with you what we found. So we're going to start out by introducing what we have done here, who we are, a little bit about the park, some internal strengths, internal weaknesses, external opportunities and threats, competitor analysis, what we recommend you do, some pro forma financials, and finally our conclusions. So just continue.
Hey, it's Eda. As you know, GatorNet is an experiential learning program run by Center for Entrepreneurship at University of Florida. For the past 7 weeks, we determined whether the Little Orange Creek Park venue will be able to sustain itself and profit by utilizing its main building venue for weddings, retreats, and special events. I'm in slide 4 right now. The park is located about 1.3 miles east of Hawthorne, 16 miles from Gainesville, and 27 miles from Ocala. And there is a 5,500 square feet building on the site. It has 2 car garages, 2 bathrooms downstairs, 1 private room available to guests, and 1 full kitchen. And maximum capacity is 200 people, and 80 people can sit on the main floor with tables and chairs. Outdoor usage has multiple sites to host weddings, mini pavilion, 12 picnic tables, and staged area.
All right, so that's just talking about basically what Little Orange Creek Park looks like at the moment. Now we're going to get into what we call a competitor analysis in business. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're in competition. All parks improve quality of life, but these are similar venues that might be in the same marketplace to what you're doing. So the first is the Matheson History Museum. That's near downtown Gainesville, and they're used as a wedding venue. My sister was actually married there going on, 4 years ago? Sounds about right, 5 years ago. They charge about $100 an hour plus a $20 steward fee, so $120 per hour. And they don't have an online reservation system, they just do it all over the phone. Next we had Mike Ross Goldhead State Branch Park, which is a mouthful, but a beautiful, beautiful place. They're located more toward the Jacksonville side of things. They accommodate a pretty similar number to Orange Creek Park, indoors and out, and they charge $132.75 per day flat whole day fee. And they also just do phone reservations. Next we've got the barn at Rembert Farms. They're out in Alachua. They start much higher than the 2 publicly owned options. They basically take, you put down a $4,000 deposit just to breathe on the place more or less. Their capacity's much higher. It's about 4 times what we can do. And they are the only one that we looked at that does reserve online, if I recall correctly. And then the final competitor, if we're to call it that, is the Austin Cary Forest campus. That's more for the corporate events, and we're going to get to our specific recommendations in that soon. But it's overall a bit of a bigger site, but they do have a similar kind of value that they offer. So it was informative to us in determining what the market for corporate retreats is. Next, we're going to move on to our SWOT analysis, and Jen's going to bring us through that one.
All right. So kind of looking at the strengths of the park, some of the strengths, it's novelty. So it's a brand new facility. It will be up and coming, kind of fresh from everyone's perspective. The proximity, it is in Hawthorne, which we think is good because it's just on the outskirts of Gainesville, but not quite too far, and it's pretty accessible for a lot of people. Some of the weaknesses, there is no reputation thus far. It's going to, like we said, be a novelty, which is also kind of hindering it at the same time. There's limited facilities, so we do have the 1 main big building, and then funding is another weakness. Some opportunities, user-focused development of facilities, and extension of trails in the community building. So there is a lot of opportunity, which kind of why you recruited us to develop into the facilities, and kind of since it is much of a simpler building, it's going to be easier for people to actually come in and use the facility, book venues, etc. And then some of the threats, the funding again, and development. So actually getting more work done and kind of growing the building, and then also the competition, since the competition is well known as is, and you know the site is brand new, so people are going to be switching, and then community disinterest. So at the time, a lot of people are in Hawthorne City and kind of doing their day-to-days.
Okay, so hi. So about the weddings, the pricing, it's gonna be like 100 per hour. That's what we have assumed about it. And the marketing, we have the local bride shops and word of mouth and the social media. And the corporate retreats, the price was like about like $50. And the marketing via social media, website, Gainesville, Akola House, Hawthorne, and Chamber of Commerce. And the music events, the pricing was about like $10,000, and organizers provide manpower and equipment, include the pay systems. And the marketing, we have word of mouth. Organizers of events like these are often looking for new and appropriate events. And since Silver Springs becomes a state park, and they have reduced the festival they host and leaving a market behind. And the recommended service.
Oh yeah, sorry. So basically, to accommodate corporate retreats or weddings, or to a lesser extent music festivals, because that's its own kind of realm. But to be competitive with as a wedding venue and as a corporate event venue, it's going to take a little bit of fixed costs, which is going to need to buy some tables and buy some chairs. We looked up some pretty decently durable commercial tables that were about $40 a piece when you order 20 of them, and chairs, we got about 80 chairs, which is the fire code max if I recall correctly for seating, and about $30 a chair, meaning that you're going to be all in about $2,400 for the chairs, $800 for the tables. So that's kind of the cost of doing business in that case, and we'll discuss that a little bit more when we get to our pro forma. Finally, as far as recommended services, we do have a recommendation system that we've kind of vetted, looked at, and that we think is going to be a good fit, and that's called Bookly. They allow users to come on, put down a deposit, pick a date, and that will synchronize with employee calendars and be integrated with Google Calendar, whatever people are using, and also allow for payment via PayPal and other common online payments. So next up, we're going to have our pro forma financials, which actually Ed is going to go ahead and email to you, because that's actually not in the slides. Yeah.
Are you still tracking with us?
Yeah. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still tracking. We're good.
Okay, so we're gonna. Did you send her the
Yes,
pro
I
formas?
sent.
Okay, so go ahead and look at your email. We'll take you through our pro forma financials, kind of what it will look like for you for your first year, and then onward from there. So
Okay.
as soon as you get that and open it up, I think Ada will walk you through those if you're all right with that.
I believe so. I meant, sorry,
Or
Ella,
Jen.
did you get it?
Yeah, I've got it.
All right, perfect. So if you go ahead and look at the first sheet here, what we've done is priced out events that you could have at your venue. So we listed weddings, receptions, corporate retreats, and music concerts. So these are just some things that based on research we feel would be most successful at your venue. And then to the right of it, you see the quantity. So those are kind of a guesstimate as to how many weddings you could host in a year. We did put 20. One of your competitors, I think the Barn potentially has weddings almost every single weekend booked throughout the year. So 20 is kind of a smaller number, but also, like we said, you are just starting out. And then for receptions, we kind of estimated about 15 corporate retreats, maybe 12, and then only one concert. So to the right of that, the price, this is kind of what we would be charging to host the wedding. So it's about $100 per hour, and then the cost would be how much you would be spending on that. And then to the right, you have the margin. And then kind of coming down, we listed some fixed costs. So the caretaker salary, and I know right now that you had hoped to have a caretaker in the future, so we kind of guesstimated what someone would get paid to stay on the facility and included that here. And then we also have maintenance, marketing, and utilities. Now we designed this sheet to be pretty user friendly, so I think you can download it and manipulate some of the cells. So in any of the columns that you see that are orange, you can change the number and it's going to change your margin and then your total profit.
So does that make sense if you come into what we've shown you here on your sheets? If you do decide to make different pricing decisions, or you're trying to target a certain number that you want to turn in a year of any of those services, just by switching the value therein, You can see how that affects your costs, how that affects your margin, and ultimately how much you end up bringing home. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, and then you can also see kind of as you scroll to the right, it goes to year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5. So we kind of estimated all the way moving up. And again, after you get the actual numbers, you can just kind of plug into this document here, and then it's going to actually give you a better depiction of what your projections would be. As you can kind of tell from year 1 total margin, it was not very profitable, but that's just because you're going to have some expensive one-time costs, and then also you are not really going to be hosting that many events as you will be in the near future. So how is this looking to you so far?
Gotcha. It looks real good. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions so far?
Yeah, this has been very good.
All right. Well,
Right.
if there's anything at all you got a question over before we plow on through to our conclusions, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll continue on here. But feel free to take a look over and let me know if there's anything you need clarified.
I'm good right now. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically our conclusion is profitability is not guaranteed between the fixed costs of the park. It may take you the first year to kind of just reimburse the costs of equipment. Everything we do recommend for you does make money per transaction, so its marginal value is higher than what it costs to provide, but it may take some time to recoup those initial costs. And this ultimately isn't a big money-making venture. This is a service provided to the community where these ancillary services like corporate events, weddings, and occasional music festivals give people a connection to the park that then makes it makes the community value the space more. So it's not just what you get out of it in revenue, it's really a community building focus that I think is kind of the take home here. There are a couple of things we also didn't explore. We briefly looked into what it would take to become a camping site. For anything that you could actually charge for, the fixed costs are pretty high to do proper hookups and things like that. School field trips, great community building thing, not really a revenue driver, so we didn't delve too terribly into those. And as far as art classes, that's kind of the thing that people tend to pop up. Not an easy thing to make money off of, a great thing to have going in your park. So the last slide has a beautiful wedding like we hope to see at your park sometime soon, and we just wanted to thank you so much for your time and take any last questions you might have.
Well, y'all done an excellent job, and I'm pleased. The rates are similar to what our temporary rates have been adopted, so I think we're on target with both trains of thought as far as what the facility could generate. So I think having that information is going to make the commission be able to make some informed decisions to go forward with. So we're excited to have this information.
All right.
Well,
That's so
excellent.
sweet, Ellen. We have apologies for oral confusion that happened before. So thank you so much.
Yes, we're excited about it, and y'all have a great holiday off, and I guess most of you are back for the next semester.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, look